What's happening, Nerd Squad, and welcome back. The Amazons are a race of powerful warrior women, and they first appeared in All-Star Comics issue 8 way back in the early 40s, so they've been around for a while. And earlier this year we got to see them in action, much more action, in the highly anticipated Snyder Cut. It was amazing. It's definitely my favorite part of that film. There are quite a few Amazons, so here to catch you up on who's who and who's doing what. I'm Taylor McWatters, and here are the top 10 most powerful Amazons. Let's do it. Kicking off the list at number 10, Wonder Woman. Diana Prince. Of course, we have to start with Wonder Woman on a list of Amazons. I was gonna put her as number 1, but her origins serve as a nice little catch-up on the history of Paradise Island, so let's do it. The daughter of Queen Hippolyta herself, the firstborn child on Paradise Island. In 3,000 years that Amazons have lived there, Princess Diana was sculpted from clay by the queen herself, and then life was given to her from the gods of Olympus. But it gets even better. 6 members of the Greek pantheon bonded the soul to clay, but also granting Diana a gift at the same time. So Demeter gave her great strength, Athena wisdom and courage, Artemis a hunter's heart and communication with animals, how lovely, Aphrodite beauty and a loving heart, so much heart stuff, Hestia sisterhood with fire, and Hermes speed and the power of flight. So it was a pretty sweet birthday party, to say the least. Diana grew up kind of bored, not bored rather, but she wanted to do more. She never really felt fulfilled, so when the gods decreed that the Amazons should send an emissary to the real world, Diana was like, yes, please let me do it, I am more than capable, right? Remember me? Look at all the things that I have. So the queen set forward a contest to be held first to see who the fiercest Amazon on the island is, but Diana was not allowed to participate. She had to go and sit and watch. So she disguised herself instead as somebody else and still won the contest. She's very committed. She was crowned champion, given the lasso of truth and the sandals of Hermes, and was sent on her way to bring peace to the world, starting with that pesky Ares. And before we continue with this list, if you want to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, give us an old like, that would be awesome. It really helps the channel and the studio out quite a bit. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for your constant support. Now let's get right back into this list of powerful Amazons. Number 9, Io. Inform Overload. Io was a blacksmith on the island, and she was in love with Diana at one point, but the feelings were just not mutual. But that's fine, it happens. She made her first appearance in DC Comics back in Wonder Woman Volume 2, issue 196. She was also, of course, skilled in how to use the weapons that she was building. But back when Hunter Zolomon invaded Themyscira, he attacked her and hit her 200 times in under 1 second. It's a lot of hits. And he did it to anger Diana, that was the craziest part. And she even said Hunter's punches hurt harder than Superman's, the man of steel. So these Amazons are truly built for war. So after Steve Trevor crashed onto their home, Io was one of the Amazons who competed for the title, and she's one of the last Amazons standing. Now she finally slipped up at the end when it came down to deflecting a bullet with her bracelets, so she's not as skilled, but Io is still quite a big deal. Number 8, Orana. Another Amazon who eventually became Wonder Woman. Orana took over as Wonder Woman for a hot minute back in 1978. Now Diana wasn't a fan of the idea, but the queen insisted that Orana had the right to call for a new tournament. Now the rules of the gods, you gotta keep it fair. Everyone's getting the chance to be, whoosh. And after a struggle for victory, Orana came out on top on the island, but when it came down to Orana traveling to no man's land, well, humans don't really like change. In the following issue, issue 251, right on the front cover alone, it's clear that Orana doesn't want Diana coming back for her title in man's world. She wants a chance at being a hero, but the boring guys, the boring old humans were like, who's gonna pay for this damage? Wonder Woman, is that you? Come on. See, Orana's powerful like Diana. She can get done, but she's not as graceful when it comes to saving the day. Now she asks herself how Diana even lasted that long to begin with. She's been there for 2 weeks and she's already sick of us. I don't blame her. Number 7, Philippus. Making her first debut in Wonder Woman Volume 2, Issue 1, when Philippus was introduced to readers first, it was as a lieutenant guarding Doom's doorway. And then when her manager Agiria put her life down in order to seal that doorway, Philippus was motivated like no other. She trained and worked her off until she eventually became captain of the Royal Guard. Now she quickly became the queen's trusted ally and friend, of course, turning to her when it's time to lead the Amazons into battle. The second in command is in charge of training the Amazons, and yes, that included Diana at first. Now in the Snyder Cut, it's Philippus who walks over to the activated mother box first. That entire sequence, yeah, is so badass. I loved it. Number 6, Dalma. The Mayweather-Logan Paul fight was one of the most anticipated boxing events ever. Weirdly, it just happened to just get that big. I mean, to be fair, YouTuber fighting a pro boxer, I mean, you know, you're kind of curious, you wanted to watch. Now imagine if we had to see this one on pay-per-view, it'd be crazy. So when Diana had returned home to Paradise Island after spending some time in Man's Land, Dalma got jealous, right? She heard the stories, everybody was celebrating her victories, so she busted out and went to make her own story. She became a boxer, and as you can imagine, she very quickly rose to fame. She was pretty powerful, and she was able to send Diana flying across the room with one hit, because her bracelets weren't on, of course. So as a fighter, hand-to-hand combat, Dalma holds up. I would pay so much money to watch Amazons fight. God, it would be so loud. Number 5, Artemis. When she was only a teenager, Artemis departed to man's world. She had to rely on her fighting skills just to make it by. And when she was only 18 years old, she joined the Purge, which was being led by Ra's al Ghul. She said her name was Diana when she was asked, so she was keeping it secret. At one point, she had to fight Batman, Superman, and eventually the real Diana. And when Ra's al Ghul was eventually stopped, she still didn't go back to her homeland. She ran away and hid for a few months first. She was originally a member of the Bana Migdal tribe of Amazons in Egypt, but Queen Hippolyta hears a vision where Wonder Woman gets killed in a battle, and she's like, I think we need a new contest now. So Artemis wins that contest and then becomes Wonder Woman, and then is later killed in battle. Ha! Who would have thought? Who saw that one coming? But fear not, folks, Artemis ended up in Tartarus, that part in the underworld meant for souls of the damned. So she beat down everybody down there, you know, in the underworld, which, I mean, that's pretty impressive, you gotta say. And then she returned back to the land of living. So she's a badass. Number 4, Antiope. The sister of Queen Hippolyta and former general of the Amazons. She mentored her niece Diana, and when the German forces arrived to invade Themyscira looking for Steve Trevor, Antiope was the one to lead Amazons on horseback to defend their land. Even when she loses her shield and sword after a bomb goes off during that battle, she still comes out on top with just a bow. That's how good she is. Now, before the battle came to an end, a German soldier fired a bullet at Diana, so she jumped in the way to protect her. Her last request was to leave the island and hunt down Ares. Pretty good request. Pretty good last request. Number 3, Magala. Magala was an Amazon mage, first appearing in Wonder Woman 124. Now Gaia initially took her spirit to the Well of Souls, and thousands of years later when the gods created the Amazons, Magala was part of them. So she made the cut. Nice. Now she wasn't into combat or doing backflips off of horses. No, instead she spent her days alone studying the arcane and the mystic. Now she's quite the creator. One of her most fascinating creations was a mirror. It wasn't like a funhouse mirror or anything like that. You know, the Amazons weren't like, hey, I look like I made a spaghetti. No, when this mirror was shown to Diana when she was 12 years old, a fragment of her soul bonded with the mirror's image. So it was a powerful, powerful mirror, which I'll get into a little bit more later on. Now, Magala was actually the one who warned the queen that Wonder Woman would die. So when she put together that other contest, she got Magala to rig it. That's when Artemis died. So it's all connected. Magala met her fate herself in issue 169 after a spell went south. Number 2, Menalippe. Devoted to the queen, Menalippe was also an oracle and a messenger for the gods of Mount Olympus. Now during the War of the Gods, Circe reverted Wonder Woman back into clay, and then the next step after that was to release one powerful blast to put an end to Diana finally. But Menalippe stepped in the way of the blast. They're all so good like that. They always step in the way of blasts, sacrificing her life for Wonder Woman's. So in the DCEU, she's actually played by Lisa Loven Kingsley, and she's seen in the battle against Steppenwolf during the War for Earth. She's actually a huge character. She kills it in that movie. And finally, number 1, Donna Troy. So that magical mirror that I mentioned, there's a bit more to that. That magical mirror was responsible for the creation of Donna Troy. She was created as a friend for Diana by Magala, but she had her own personality. So it wasn't weird, it wasn't like Paul Rudd living with yourself type scenario. It was fun. Until she was taken by Dark Angel because they thought that she was the Wonder Woman. And then she was cursed to live countless cruel lives, like some Black Mirror type. Definitely my biggest fear. Like numerous lives in like a simulation, that's... She eventually took on the alias of Wonder Girl and became one of the founding members of the Teen Titans. Now she married Terry Long, and then when she was pregnant with their child, a future Teen Titans confronted her and tipped her off that her son is going to end up becoming Lord Chaos and would be a menace in the future, hence the name Lord Chaos. So Donna gave her powers up, anything she could do to prevent this dark future from unfolding, but Terry ended up divorcing Donna and gained full custody of said child. Now after a tragic car accident, Dark Angel appeared yet again and made Donna start a whole new other life, with Hippolyta and Wally West being the only ones who remember her past. Guys, there you have it. Thank you so much for joining us on Top 10 Nerd. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button on the way out if you want. I mean, if you want to see us again. I've been your host, Taylor McWatters, and we'll see you next time on Top 10 Nerd. Peace.